Hey, this is Dave from metalepidemic.com. Thank you for checking out our YouTube video. Please feel free to hit the subscribe button below if you like this type of content, and we hope you enjoy the review. What is up, guys? Dave here from Metal Epidemic, back with another album review. And for this review, Duncan Kyle and I have been checking out the new album from Australian metallic hardcore quintet Burn in Hell. The band's new album, Disavowal of the Creator God, will be released on August 6th via Reason and Rage Records. So, this is album number 2 for Burn in Hell, which follows up the band's 2018 release, Humanity Plague. Comprised of current and former members of Vice and Amends, they choose to stand up for their beliefs with lyrics that address social and political injustices crushing contemporary society. And to this day, this vision remains uncompromised. The album was produced and mixed by Thomas Segal at The Wolf Studios, then mastered by Zach Weeks at God City. Okay, gents.
Do we think any relation to Big Stevie?
Spelt differently, so probably not, unfortunately.
Thought we might have a hook in there.
Get him on the show.
Yep. Can tell us how he was trained by that old blues master down the road to play guitar. Right, so you were Stevie. Shut it. Right.
Burn in Hell, I had never heard of these guys before. So naturally, I went and checked out their 2018 release first before checking out Disavowed of the Creator God. And for me, there's an instant kind of different tone on this release. It's still very much metallic hardcore, but the overall tone of this is I thought was way more dissonant and way more discordant sounding. Partly down to the production of the album, which feels a little bit grittier in places, but probably more so the kind of choice of chords and the styles that they're kind of blended on this release. There are definite kind of hints of like Harm's Way on this, but it's merged with kind of the more kind of violent and kind of dissonant shades of bands like Cult Leader, Yautja, or even All Pigs Must Die, something like that. So although you've got that kind of metallic hardcore sound at the foundation, they do play with a bit of kind of grind or kind of some power violence as well, which does keep things a lot more kind of interesting, I think. I felt this release was definitely more engaging for me than Humanity Plague. The way they kind of play around a bit more with the tempos on this track, on the track, sorry, and it kind of gave you a bit more of a kind of variety rhythmically. There's also some really kind of killer moments on this release, those kind of like slow and kind of groove laden, kind of payoff type moments where they just kind of let the riffs do the talking. But I think they work so well because they're kind of surrounded by all this like chaos and intensity. And when they do kind of simplify things, it creates enough of a change to kind of break the tracks up. I think for me though, one of my favourite elements of this release were the vocals of Marcus Tamp. His tone is utterly savage. It is disgusting. It's no frills, it's very blunt in its delivery, which kind of adds this kind of layer of kind of sonic brutality to the whole thing. But to be honest, the whole album is kind of presented in that way. It's kind of hell for leather for the whole release, except the kind of interlude in the middle of the album. And there's a little bit of kind of murky melody lingering in the background towards the end of a track called Disavowal. I do prefer this to Humanity Plague when I listen to them kind of back to back. My only kind of complaint about this is the length. I felt a wee bit...
First time you said that, Dave, I could see it in his eye. I could see it in his eye.
I felt a little bit cheated. Like, it's 15 minutes long. Humanity Plague was the same length though, so maybe that's just their thing. But I felt like they could have easily done 30 minutes of this and still kept it interesting. Especially now where they are kind of mixing it up more than they did on that last album. That kind of gripe I had aside, I still enjoyed this. It's a quick 15-minute burst of violence. They clearly have something important to say going by their kind of lyrical themes. And I felt like that kind of rage they had 100% came across on this release. So job well done on that front, guys. But yeah, I did enjoy this. Never heard them before, but I did enjoy this release from Burning Hell. Duncan, what did you think of this release from Burning Hell?
Musically, I find it pretty cool.
Okay.
I, unlike you, did not like the vocals.
Ooh.
Really? I found them monotonous, and I'm not entirely. I don't want to become a Kyle here.
Yeah, you do. Come on, let it out. I'd say
I
the enemy
thought he
out.
had a distortion effect on his vocals.
They did, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm okay with, to an extent, distortion effects being used in vocals in certain parts, but not like all the way through. At times, like it became too much of a distraction for me. And I think it takes away from. I know it's supposed to be angry, and what they're singing about is very important. And lyrically, the lyrical themes themselves. I will say this: it's completely audible, and you can make out what he's saying, which is almost against what the distortion should do. You can totally make out everything he's saying, and there are really important lyrical themes in here. Yeah. But I just found myself always just something not unpleasant, because unpleasant's probably what they're aiming for. Just off-putting for me. I could not get my head around it, and it's on every single song. So whereas you're saying you could have went 30 minutes, 15 minutes is enough for me. Genuinely, and it's a shame because musically I found them really interesting compared to other bands in the kind of more metallic hardcore or whatever we're going to call it. On those ones, I tend to find those bands are very repetitive. And these guys aren't. There's plenty of switching up of things. Some of those discordant riffs you're talking about are downright disgusting when they kick in. But they're not afraid to switch things up, hit you with a bit of attack out of nowhere. And I really, really like that. But unfortunately for me, the one thing I couldn't get around, and it's a stylistic choice for them more than anything. That's a distinct choice. We're going to do this with the vocals. It gives it I suppose if you're a shouty vocalist in a shouty genre and you want to sound more abrasive, that distortion makes sense, unless this guy actually sounds like that, and if he does, that terrifies the ever living fuck out of me. Genuinely terrifies me. So if he comes back and says it's his tone, I do apologise in advance. Do not hunt me down. I've got a special set of skills. I don't want that. You know what I mean? It's the last thing I want. But no, it was a frustrating listen for me because, like I say, musically, 100% in. Really, really enjoyed it. Kind of with you, I always get a bit woolly when bands say album and it's a quarter of an hour long. I'm kind of like, is that an album? But track-wise, it's maybe an hour around. I don't know. Once again, that's a choice. Yeah. And I'm being nitpicky for no other reason. If you are into metallic hardcore or metalcore to an extent, actually, go one step further. There's a lot to celebrate from this release. They do a lot of things really, really interesting. To me, there's one specific choice which is all the way through it that just doesn't work for me. And as a result, it kind of dragged it down specifically on the re-listens. So.
Okay. Kyle, what did you think?
This was the longest 15 minutes I've ever spent listening to music in my fucking lifetime.
Well, we are all over the place today.
It's like the vocal. I'm glad Duncan touched on it because it is so uninspired and monotonous all the way through. All he does is the one tone. That's it. He's just like that's it all the way through. It's like a Dalek, you know.
That sounded like a really good impression in Morse code.
There you go. That's what he sounded like. And don't get me started on the fucking drums. Holy shit. Like I've
issues on the drums on this one. That's
really go back and listen to it. It's like the laziest drum production I've ever heard in my life. There's you say this is a quintet. This band is a quartet. There are 4 members in this band because the drummer has been kicked out and removed from the album. There is no drummer on this at all, not one bit. The producer or the mixer engineer, whoever the fuck did it, has completely replaced him with a bad sample set that has one fucking velocity and it sounds awful. And they're so loud in the mix, you can't get around it. And I'm just like, okay, the guitars sound pretty good. The bass is there too, somewhere, I assume. But I mean, I put on my headphones just to make sure instead of the speakers, and I was like, there's just nothing here. All the songs except for one start the same. Bit of feedback, bit of riff, go into the song. And I'm like, fucking go home and try harder. I cannot believe this is their second album. They should stop being a band and just do something else, because this is honestly the most forgettable. This is like budget Ion Dissonance. They took all the cool parts of that kind of music and just went, yeah, just gonna fuck it up. So, yeah, not for me at all.
I literally thought I was gonna be. I thought I was gonna get a bollocking off the tees. In terms of, I've come. This is what we should do all the time. We should just have Kyle on every review that I'm not hot on, and it makes me sound reasonable. Jesus Christ, Kyle!
No, this is terrible. Absolutely hated it. I'm never going to listen to it again. If this is on our top 10 list this year, it'll be top 10 worst albums.
Oh my god!
And it's not an album because it's 15 minutes long.
Well, depends how you quantify an album
It's
nowadays.
weird. I know it's like it's an album because how was it? What, 9 tracks, but like 15 minutes. I know the genre is they've got a bit of grindcore in there. They do that stuff all the time, but it's like yeah. I don't know. And that's a nitpicky thing, and I'm not going to harp on it. But the rest of it was just like.
I had none of those issues. I'm afraid the length was the only thing that kind of bothered me. But
yeah, me too. The length bothered me a lot as well.
I'm a hardcore guy. You know, I mean that's one of my main genres. So, I mean it's not anything groundbreaking or anything I haven't heard done before. But I thought they did that style pretty well, to be honest. Okay, so ratings on this one. No idea where these are going to land at all. I enjoyed it. It was 15 minutes, so didn't feel like a chore to me at all. I could have done with a little bit more personally. I had no issues in terms of the production. I thought the production fitted their sound, and vocally again, I thought I can see where you're coming from with the kind of distorted tone. I honestly just thought it kind of accentuated the music. I thought it sounded even more kind of savage and kind of visceral with that tone. I've heard other bands do that before. This isn't something that's new either. I've heard other hardcore bands do that as well, or grindcore bands that have that kind of distorted effect. It doesn't really bother me, but I can see, why other people might not like it. I enjoyed it. I'll go 4 out of 5 on this one. Duncan?
Yeah, I think musically, once again, I have no gripes musically here at all. I thought I did what I expected it to do. Maybe that is a dig at it. Maybe it's a little bit too predictable, but like I say, it hit me with moments of dissonance anyway, which I thought really suited it and were unexpected. The length for me is fine because the thing that I don't really like in it is that vocal tone, and I'm consistent on that. I'd like if your desired effect is. My least favourite Deftones albums are the ones with Chino puts all the fucking effects in the world over his vocals, because I'm just like, I want to hear you sing. My least favourite Tool songs are the ones that Maynard puts about 17 effects over. I want to hear you do your vocal, and I'm fine with it on a track, but all the way right, I think it just became a distraction for me. Overall, I give this a 3. I'd probably go back to it. It is a short listen, and if you're feeling volatile or angry or you want to vent, it is the perfect way to get it out of your system. And I do think there is merit in them highlighting some of the social issues they do in the lyrics. I think that's what this music's designed for. It's the perfect vehicle for it.
It's designed to play live. I imagine this would be insane live.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Chaotic, very chaotic. But yeah, it's a 3 for me.
Okay, and Kyle?
I'm going to give it 2 out of 5. 1, because the social issues and what they sing about, actually very important, very good things to sing about, very current. Can't fault them on that at all, and I appreciate it. Everybody knows I'm into that kind of lyrical content and all that as well. So I really appreciate that. 2, some of the riffs were absolutely really, really, really good. Not gonna lie, they had some very, very good riffs and incredible discordant moments, which I really love as well. But that's it. That's all I can say good about this, to be honest. It's just not for me. Not at all.
Fair enough. So Burn in Hell, Disavowal of the Creator God drops on August 6th. via Reason and Rage Records. Check them out, facebook.com/BurningHellAU. I'll put a link below to their Facebook and to their Bandcamp so you can check out the album when it drops. Let us know what you think. If you've heard any of the singles, once you've heard the album, drop some comments in below. Happy to hear your thoughts and opinions on it. That is the review. Thank you for checking it out. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.